Hanaki! Did you know that our souls are connected by fate? Well, what do you know? I'm Yuno Hanaki from production Kawaii's Hanamizuki. Good evening. Sorry I was running late again. I am reaching this point where I think that I'm gonna have to push back my stream time by like an hour. Lately, the 7 p.m. Onigashima time, start time, has not been working out for me, so I'm really starting to debate if I should push back and just make it a bit later, because this is getting ridiculous. But you know, it is what it is. Hi! Hope you guys are doing okay. Hello, hello. Welcome to Fictitious Friday. So, today we are gonna be talking a little bit more directly about translyrics, or the process of making translyrics, because I don't know, I figured it would be a appropriate enough topic to discuss on this kind of stream. Give me 1 second to pop this out. You still have those clothes on? Says the person who wore it again today too. I don't see why you're judging. You really like it? It's more like I was too lazy to take it off, to be honest with you. I was already doing so much to set up for this, I didn't really want to spend any extra time. To be honest, I just didn't really want to spend the extra time to take it all off. So it's whatever. I think it's fine. The siblings are fighting again? Nah. Don't call us siblings. Excuses? Whatever you say. So anyways, we're gonna be talking about translyrics today. I don't have like a presentation prepared, so we're just gonna kind of yap about them for a little bit, and then we will talk about the actual like process. So, what are English translyrics? I guess we will start there. So English translyrics are well, translyrics is a combination word of both translation and lyrics, so it's basically translated lyrics. When you're translating a song, and you're going from one language to another, song translations are... Well, I guess it depends on the person that you're talking to, but ideally, because a song, at least in terms of English conventions, has things like a rhyme scheme, and it like fits a certain beat and rhythm, you want to make your translation singable. There's like a bit of a debate. You could argue about this with like other like localization services as well, but you know, you have like a literal translation, which you can see here. I have a translation set up for this. This is the document for Otsukimi recital, by the way. Google Doc reveal, gasp. But yeah, so this was the document that I sent to Hiyori for her request for Otsukimi recital lyrics. But basically, this is how I outline mine. Or like these are the kinds of like splits that I do. So we have the romaji, which is the original Japanese lyrics, but like written out in Roman letters so that it's easier to read for people who cannot read kanji like me. But I write them out like this, and then there's the literal English translation. You usually take these from a reputable source. You can also take your translation from multiple sources if you would like to. I know there are a lot of people who also do that, because sometimes it can be difficult to just stick with one person's translation in order to really get the imagery down. Because some people, when they translate, are more creative with their translations, or a little bit more liberal, I guess I should say, with their translations. Like, they don't have as many like restrictions. They'll just kind of translate it how they think it would most naturally flow in English, versus people who will translate like one-to-one, very literal, one word to the next type beat, right? So that's kind of where the translation box goes. I used one translation for this, just because I felt like it was easier. And then in this section, this is usually where I will put the translyrics. And these are the lyrics that I take, that I write for myself, and then I pay attention to the translation and the romaji here. Similar to any sort of writing experience, Hanaki, welcome. Similar to any other writing experience, you don't have to start from the very beginning and work your way down. I prefer to do it that way because I feel like it stays a little bit more consistent if I do it like that. But it is definitely not mandatory. I would not say that it is necessary to do it like that, but you absolutely can. I guess one like quirk of this maybe is that I try to make the lyrics all line up kind of equally so that you can tell like which part correlates to which part of the original song. So for Otsukimi's recital, it's so this part is one-to-one with that part in terms of like the syllable count. That's something to also pay attention to with translyrics, is you want to make sure you match the original syllables as much as possible. You can take some liberties. There are a lot of people who will take a lot of liberties when doing translyrics just so they can kind of convey what they think the song means a bit more easily. But you can see I even follow the same convention of like the quotation at the beginning and then the answer. It's kind of funny that well, I shouldn't say funny, but the Hiyori's MV, the MV editor did not include the quotes, which is a little bit of a bummer because a lot of this song is like quoting things that both the singer and the person that they are trying to cheer up says. And I feel like a lot of the meaning of the song kind of gets lost if there's no quotation, but it's okay. I think you could still kind of get it. Luckily, the story that was told in the MV, I think, was still able to correlate with what I wrote, so it could be worse. But, like, I feel like, at least with this sort of song, it was important to keep the quotation marks, but it is be what it do. I was not really involved with the MV process. It was just my job to write the lyrics, so once I wrote the lyrics and I handed them off, everything was kind of out of my hands, so I couldn't really have a say in that. And it's no big deal. It, like, didn't really impact it that much, but it was just a personal touch that I had gone out of my way to include, so I was a little bit bummed when it wasn't included in the video proper, but it'd be like that sometimes. Okay. So, when I say match the syllable count, what does that mean? We'll go back to the first line for this example, so it's like... So, that means that this line is do 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 do. There's like a certain emphasis on certain notes, like where certain ones are elongated and other ones are a bit shorter. So that's why we then have the one-to-one of oh why'd I try when it's still not enough. Like it's the exact like beat for beat kind of following of the original melody. This would also be called the top line. If you're talking about it in terms of like being a songwriter, the top line is like the main melody of a song. Yeah. So that's kind of how I do it. I try to make my lyrics rhyme to some extent as well. I try to make sure that it sounds like a song, because a lot of English songs rhyme. A lot of English songs try to be really catchy with their lyrics because rhymes tend to stick in people's minds a lot more easily. They're more memorable that way. So that's why you'll find that a lot of hooks have a lot of like rhyming or like repetition, things like that. Japanese songs don't really do that. This is something I talked about with a mixer friend actually, but he pointed out that a lot of Japanese songs don't really repeat lines very often. It's very rare. Like, they'll repeat the same melody, but they will have completely different words to it. Which can sometimes be really annoying when it comes to, like, working or, like, mixing a song. Because, like, you have to retune and, like, rework a lot of certain things for each line, even if it's a melody you've already, like, worked with previously in the song. Just because there's new words attached. And I feel like the same is kind of true with translyrics, because even if I've already done, like, this rhythm, we then have that again, Let me see. It's like da 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 da, like right over here, and it's like a different phrase. I don't understand anything you explain, but that's probably because I'm drunk. I see. That's okay. You don't necessarily have to understand. I'm trying to be as simplistic as possible here, but if you don't understand, that's fine. Maybe this is a bad idea for a stream in the end. Is whatever. I find it interesting. You guys can either choose to find it interesting, or you can, I don't know, just exist. Exist, leave. I don't know what the right answer to say is here. But yeah. So it's kind of like that. You can see that some lines I try to stay one-to-one with the meaning as well. Like this part, like it says tomorrow will daze you, so I say tomorrow's days won't hurt you. We also get things like, with that I take you along a little too forcefully. It becomes, after that I pull you along, but maybe my grip's too strong. So we've got the rhyme, but we still have pretty much the exact same... We have the same kind of vibe, like it's channeling the same energy. But it's not... Like perhaps a little forcefully is like a little vague of a term. So I tried to make it sound a little more like direct and have like a clearer image to it. I'm happy hearing you talk about something you enjoy. Well, I suppose that works too. But yeah, that's kind of how the process goes here. And then a lot of this is just me listening to the original song over and over. You can see I have the official... Well, this isn't an official upload of the song, but this is a video of the original song. This is like the Japanese version of the song. So that way I can listen and I can learn what the melody is for these lines. And then I kind of just... I will listen to it a bunch to like learn the melody, and I'll just go... Dun, 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 dun. Like I'll be mimicking it to myself so I know how many syllables I'm working with. And then there's also an off vocal, so that way you can record to it without having to worry about the Japanese vocalist in your ear. And also for Hiyori, I recorded a demo. I recorded a demo version of the song that was sung by me, so that she could kind of understand where the emphasis needed to go and like how I kind of envisioned it would sound. That's just something I do when I feel like a song... I don't always do this, because sometimes I feel like my lyrics are pretty much completely one-to-one, so you don't need a guide for it. But this song has had a lot of, like, more upbeat parts that I think needed a little bit more clarity. So I sang the entire thing for her. Can we hear the demo? It's not properly mixed. It's very raw sounding. So it's just gonna be like karaoke, but I guess I don't mind playing it. Hold on, I'm gonna have to turn off my BGM for this. This stream is already not monetized, so I'm not worried about getting struck or anything. I don't think this song I don't think is one that gets like struck like that, so we should be okay. But yeah. Where is the BGM? Go ahead and mute that. And then we're gonna need the web audio on. Make this a little bit lower. Okay. But I'm a really bad mixer, so like when I say demo, it's like a really poorly done mix that I try to like loosely time it so that they get the right idea, and then don't follow my example ever. Just don't do that. It should play. Yeah, sure. Maybe work here. Yeah, sure. Hopefully you guys can hear this okay. Oh, why is it playing through the PC audio and not my browser audio? That is a problem I will have to address after stream. But as long as you can hear it, that's fine.
When it's still not enough, the face of yours is full of such sad stuff. Even saying don't give up won't change that, so my next attack won't hold back. I don't need to look ahead with your spirit held high. Tomorrow's days won't hurt you, you'll be fine. After that I pull you along, but maybe my grip's too strong. Despite the sun, you're still feeling blue. From looking at your face, I can't help my concern for you. And while the tears well up in your eyes, I'm feeling way too useless inside. I'm weak, so that's no surprise. But I believe in you, so please believe me. Focus on the now you can see. In the times where your heart's feeling dark, just know that I'll be there, we'll never be apart. Never let those bad feelings show, so might as well start patient. No, say, I know we've got this okay. You cannot be alone. I'm blown that word away.
You don't need to hear the rest of that. This song's very high for me, so recording the demo is kind of a pain in the butt. This song's high for me. Luckily, Hiyori has a very, like, naturally high voice, so she didn't have to worry about that as much. Me, I have to worry about that. But yeah, that's kind of what it sounded like. It was a very basic, it is a very basic, run through of the song to kind of give, like, the vibe. Full cover win. I'm not doing a cover of my own lyrics, at least not something I wrote for another person. This is Hiyori's song now. This belongs to Hiyori. It almost sounds like not you. I get told that a lot. I think it was Isla-sama when, yeah, she said this, I think, when she heard me singing, when she was playing one of the kawaii playlists, I think, but she was like, it's funny how there's like this gap between when Yuno talks versus when Yuno sings, because she said that I sound a lot like softer and cuter when I sing versus like when I talk I sound a lot more low, which is true. It's called gap moe, Isla-sama. I'm pretty sure that's what I said in her chat when she said that. It's called gap moe. Look it up. It's always after you explain it, but it never occurred to me you need to record an entire test version of a cover when producing it. Not for most covers, but for English covers, yes. Because, like, sometimes if people are anything like me, they kind of need to be able to hear a version of it before they can properly sing it. So there's, like, differences there. But, like, yeah. Oh, my donation alerts are off. I forgot. But I saw the donation come in. That's why I was checking. Heaven's Way Trollmaster, thank you for the $5. I monetized your stream. Gasp. Monetization. I can hear the hair flip. It's called Gap Moe. You're so right. You probably also saw me move my head, which is basically the equivalent of me doing a hair flip in real life, but you can't see it. Because I can't move my hands. It is what it is. But yeah, at least for, like, English translyric songs, it's probably better to have a demo, if possible. It's also probably better to have a demo by somebody who knows how to tune in time and loosely mix things. I don't know how to do any of that. So, my demos usually end up sounding pretty silly, I would say. But that is what I sound like raw. That's what I sound like in a raw recording. So congratulations. That was your surprise raw Yuno Hanaki. Anyways. But yeah, so I recorded like the whole song. It wasn't just that section. But like I recorded all of this too, just to kind of give an idea of how I thought it would sound. So that Hiyori could better understand like where I thought the beat or emphasis would be. She followed it pretty closely. You can probably tell if you listen to mine versus hers. There were points where she changed the melody a little bit to make it easier for her to sing, which is totally fine. In the end, once it's out of my hands, I don't really have a say. It still sounded good, and it was still pretty much on beat, so even if there are slight changes, it doesn't particularly matter. But I do this for songs where I think it's difficult. Some of the stuff that I've done for Kaya, I felt like I was pretty much entirely one-to-one, so I didn't really need to record a demo. I think the only time I recorded like a demo for one line in I'm Invincible. And I think I did record a demo for Kira Kira Shichatte My True Love, the Precure cover. I recorded a full demo for that one because that rhythm was also quite weird. Older Japanese songs have a very distinct rhythm to them that I feel like is not entirely clear, but I think I recorded a full demo for that one as well when I sent it to her. But other than that, I didn't record demos because I thought they were pretty easy. But I'm always there to, like, answer questions. Have you ever had to redo lyrics because the ones you wrote were too hard? Never a total redo. There was a line in this version. Yeah, so I wrote this... So I wrote this as, like, did I find you a little cool, I guess? Like, the last line of this song. Hiyori changed it to, did I find you cool a little bit, I guess? So, like, it was a very slight change, but she changed that for herself to make it flow a bit easier for her to sing. Which is totally fair, like I said. But my intention was, did I find you a little cool, I guess? And then she changed it to something that she found easier to sing. So not too much of a difference, but, so, like, this is my version, and then hers was, this ended up being the final one. So it turned out like this. So there's never a point where I've had to, like, fully redo a set of lyrics. At least not so far. I wouldn't be surprised if that day, like, eventually came for me, I guess. I mean, ideally, I wouldn't want to, face that, because I would hope that my lyrics are usually pretty singable, but, if the situation ever arose, I would definitely try my best to redo it. Yuno deals with the meat and potatoes and they work the seasoning? Yeah, I guess that's one way to look at it. Sure. Sure. But yeah. It does help if they, like, ask me before they change certain aspects of the melody. Or, like, of the lyrics. But that's mostly if they change, like, a huge amount. Since this was only the last line, I was like, yeah, that's fine, whatever. And it's still pretty much the exact same line, just with, like, this added. So, like, in that case, it's fine. I just get wary if they change too much of it, because then in the end it ends up not really feeling like my work. Which is why I appreciated that she, like, gave me a heads up before she changed it. But yeah, so that's kind of how it usually goes for me. Honestly, a lot of the actual writing process is just me listening to the song over and over, and then looking at the syllable count for each line and the translation for each line, and kind of just figuring out how I would make the translation fit within the syllable count. That's a lot of what this is. Boobas lost their size? Oh. Yeah, that's probably because I pressed a button. I think the key for the bobbers is locked behind the number 1. Which is very funny. I didn't press the number 1, but I guess maybe something else I pressed that counted. Maybe it's because I used shift? How long did it take you to do this one? I can check my messages with Hio, maybe? But I think I finished these really fast, because she gave me a pretty tight deadline, if I remember correctly. Because when she requested them, she did give me a deadline. Where is the thingy? Okay. Where is the thing? So I think... yeah, okay, so I finished them on the 17th of May. And then... when did she request them, though? Real question. Oh, the 13th. Okay, so these took me about 4 days. It was a very tight deadline. I don't think the 17th was her requested deadline, but she did want me to finish them relatively quickly, so that's why I ended up just doing it within a couple of days. But so this took me about 4 days of work. Gives or takes. Sometimes I can bang out lyrics within like 1 or 2 sessions. Others it takes me a couple of days. If it's a song that I'm familiar with, it's a lot faster. I was already familiar with Otsukimi Recital because this is an older Vocaloid song. It's from Kageto Project. If you guys watched Nano's streams last night. If you guys watched Nano's streams, you would know that this is from Kageto Project, Kage Pro. But it's an older Vocaloid song, so I already knew the song relatively well, at least in terms of melody, so it was pretty quick work, I would say. A lot of work days. Well, I wasn't working on it all 4 of those days. It was more just I was able to get it finished 4 days later. I wouldn't say I was actively working on it all 4 of those days. I think if I were to add up the actual, like, time spent on it, it was probably no longer than, like, 5 or 6 hours. Because I work on things in small bursts when I split it up like that, so that I don't get overwhelmed. Unless it's a day where I can get it all done in one session. And then at that point, I just blink and it's over. But, you know, with things like this, too, there are times where I will look at what I wrote and I'll be like, oh, I hate that, and I'll have to redo it. And then recording the demo also adds in extra time, because that's me recording a demo. So, like, that's not always the case for when it comes to writing lyrics for me. But I do think I usually will send lyrics back to a person who requests them. Trans lyrics, specifically. We're not talking about original song lyrics. Original song lyrics take way longer. But if we're talking about trans lyrics, I can usually send those back to a person who requests them within, like, 3 or 4 days. Like, the minute I find time to work on it, I can usually bang most of it out. And then it's done. So that's kind of how it works for me, at least. I wouldn't know what the average speed for doing English trans lyrics would be, but I would assume it's probably similar for a lot of other people. But a lot of people who do trans lyrics also sing their own lyrics, so most of the time it's like a self-production. They probably can finish it within a couple of days for themselves and then, like, record and get all the work done from there. For me, I am just one of many cogs in the machine of producing a cover, so I try to get my part done as quickly as I can, so that way the vocalist can do their singing, so that way the person making the music video knows what lyrics to use and the timing. Yeah. Good turnaround time. I do my best. I do content creation stuff full-time, as you guys know, so it's just a matter of, like, filling what I have allocated as my working hours with whatever it is that's due within that time frame. Efficient cog Oni. I don't know if I like being referred to as an efficient cog, but at least the content creation machine is a fun machine to be in versus, you know, the less fun types of machines. Mm-hmm. But that is basically how it goes for me. If anybody has any specific questions, I'm willing to answer them. So late? No, it's okay. I started really late too. These past couple of days have not been good for a 7 p.m. time slot. I keep running over time with all the stuff that I'm doing off stream, so I keep starting really late. So it's okay, you're fine. You didn't miss too much. I've just been rambling about translyrics for the most part. Yeah. It's almost 3 a.m. very late. You should probably go sleep soon. Who wrote the Romaji? This is the official, or maybe not like official, but it was just the Romaji source for these lyrics, because the song is really old, so people have romanized it a bunch before. I don't remember what the source was. I think I just found a place that had the romanization and I just copy-pasted. I didn't self-romanize these, but, like, again, this is a song that's been around for a while, so it's been, like, properly romanized a bunch in the past. Was there anything in particular you kept in mind with how they sounded? I really tried to keep the kind of Genki girl energy, because the singer for this song, she's an idol character, so I had to think of it as, like, idol vibes. So I was like, this needs to sound idol-like, and this needs to have a very, like, motivational feeling vibe to it. Like, basically Genki girl energy. Genki idol girl. Which suits Hiyori really well, so I was kind of keeping Hiyori's, like, voice in mind while writing it, too. Because in the end, I knew that I was writing these lyrics for her, so some of my choices were kind of influenced by how I know Hiyori talks and how her vibe kind of is. Why don't the English translations rhyme? Because the English translations, at least this particular source that I use, because I assume you're talking about these, they tend to go quite literal in order to convey the one-to-one meaning, and they don't care as much about rhyming as they do about making sure that the translation is accurate. So that's why translyrics exist. Translyrics literally exist to take the translation and make it singable. Very few people will translate a song with the intention of making it singable from the get-go. Usually it has to go through a second pass where it becomes singable. And that's what translyrics are. Do the girls you write these for give you any specific instructions other than translate the song, or are you left to your own devices? I don't get any directions when it comes to translyrics. It's different with original songs, obviously, because you're making those from scratch, and so I will usually ask for, like, a concept or an image or something that they have in mind for what they want the vibe to be like. When it comes to translyrics, the song already has a vibe there, so it's just a matter of making sure that the lyrics are singable and that they also kind of suit the meaning of the song. That's really the only, like, instruction, I guess. But it's not an instruction they give me. It's more just like, hey, Yuno, can you write me translyrics for this? And I'll be like, okay, when do you want them? And it'll be like, by this date. And I'll be like, okay. And then I do it. Such is my life. I will bend over backwards to get the chance to write for the other girlies. So, You're so kind. I don't know about that. I just like helping other people. I like getting to use my skills. I feel like, you know, writing is not really a super desirable skill to have as a VTuber. I feel like it's... I don't know how else to word this, but I feel like, writing is something that a lot of people take for granted at times. But it's not super useful as a VTuber, because not a lot of people want to sit there and watch me stare at a Google Doc for 3 hours. That's why I stopped doing my work streams. I don't think a lot of people really want to, like, exist while I stare at a Google Doc, get distracted, randomly type. Writing is a dying form of art. Yeah. I also just think it's not very entertaining for stream content, unfortunately. A lot of the stuff I do with writing is, like, supplemental to streaming, essentially. Like, lyrics for the girls' covers, lyrics for original songs, scripts for voice packs or ASMR videos, or, like, whatever else that gets posted. It's always, like, supplemental content. It's not necessarily stream content is the thing, but, like, that also makes me feel pretty useless a lot of the time. Not to sound depressing. Not to sound emo. But I feel pretty useless a lot of the time, because the only skills I really have is writing, and, like, not much else. Because even voice acting, too, that's really only useful if I'm playing a game that requires me to, like, read lines out loud. And, like, writing is my only other skill. So, I kind of just sit here a lot of the time. I feel like, the things I bring to the table are pretty much, like, non-existent because of that. So when I do get the opportunity to, like, write for the other girls, or when I get the opportunity to write for cool behind-the-scenes projects, it does make me happy. Makes me feel like it's not totally useless, you know? Original songs, plural. I can neither confirm nor deny the statement. It's very cerebral, not necessarily exciting or fun for most people, I guess. Yeah. It's hard to really make content out of it, so to speak. That's why I try to do things where, like, people can have more input and stuff like that. But even then, it can sometimes be difficult. I like hearing whenever you do the lyrics for the girlies. I know how much you enjoy it. I do. I feel like writing is something that is undervalued, and I don't know if this is going to sound egotistical. It might. But sometimes when I hear other people write, or, like, things... Okay, how do I word this? When I hear things that are written by, the VTubers themselves... This isn't specifically about kawaii, but, like, sometimes when I listen to stuff that I know other VTubers, like, wrote for themselves, I'll just kind of sit there and be like, you can tell that they don't really understand writing. Maybe that makes me a little bit of a snob. I feel bad when I think it, but it's like... I can kind of tell that it's written by someone who's not a writer. But it's someone who felt like they had to be the one to write it because it is their content. Sometimes you can tell that a person wants to just have that creative control, and so they're like, well, I'm the person that this is for, so I should be the one to write it. I'm the one who understands what I want best. But then that doesn't necessarily mean it'll turn out good. I'm sorry to say it like this. I'm not talking about anyone specific, I promise. But it's just like, I can tell when something is just being written because they felt like they had to write it, or when something is being written because they felt like they knew what was best, but it's not the most polished thing out there. And that's okay. If the person themselves is happy with it, I'm happy for them. But, like, because I feel like writing is so unappreciated, people are just like, oh, anybody can write. And to an extent that is true. But it does take a certain amount of, like, practice and, like, effort to write well, is the thing. Because yes, anyone can write. Anybody could just sit here and type on a Google Doc and you would have something. But you wouldn't necessarily have very polished writing. The culture for hiring an external writer is a lot less fleshed out than hiring an artist. Yeah, I think that's kind of true too. People don't usually think that they can ask an outside writer to do stuff for them. They assume that that's something they need to do internally. Some of the translation, I would argue, isn't 100% accurate here. Well, this is where we get into the argument of, like, whether or not we should care about one-to-one accuracy or if we should take artistic liberties. This is an old translation from, like, frickin' forever ago, because the song is ancient and old, and there were probably different translation requirements back then. Well, not requirements, but there were probably just different standards for translation, and there's probably just, like, liberties taken in order to get the translation that they felt best fit. Like, sure, you could argue that it's not a good translation. I've definitely done that with certain translations before, but, like, I also tend to just follow whatever sources I'm given. For this song, I wasn't given a source. I just had to, like, look up a translation for myself, and I chose one that I felt was, like, mostly accurate. But I also don't feel like I can be too picky, because I don't know the language that well to be like, oh, well, this one's not capturing the nuance of this line. As long as it's close enough. Like, it's still being translated pretty much properly. And the vibe is still here. I feel like this song was probably translated within the wider context of Kage Pro as well. So, you know. That is something to keep in mind as well. When it comes to translating Japanese, you are always going to be lacking context. So, there are a lot of liberties that get taken just outright. What are translyrics exactly? So translyrics are... It's a combination word between translated and lyrics, which is translated lyrics. Basically, the reason they exist is because when people translate a song, they will not really think about rhyme or whether or not it is singable. Translyrics are the translation of the song made singable. So it sounds more like an actual song. If we're talking about English translyrics, something that English listeners tend to expect when they listen to a song is like things that rhyme, things that have sometimes like repeating hooks or refrains, things that are consistent throughout the song, and then like lots of rhyming, because rhyming is considered very memorable. When you're just translating a song, you're just kind of focused on getting the meaning across, and you're not really thinking about if it rhymes or whatever. Most people when they translate songs don't think about making it a poem, or like don't think about making it sound singable. They just translate it. The first sentence I would argue is wrong, or at least it didn't capture the full nuance. I'm just being pedantic though. Well, what I'm saying is you don't necessarily have the context of Kage Pro, and you don't really have the context of how this character talks. The character speaking as a child. A very depressed child who has experienced a lot of trauma. And there's like a ton of other stuff that's involved within the wider context that is Kage Pro that like influences how certain things are said and how certain things are conveyed here. But like, it does get to a point of being pedantic when it comes to being critical of translations. Because also, like, it translates this as distressed when I feel like Naki So sounds like a face that is about to cry. I mean, you can still cry out of distress. But, like, I interpreted the initial line as being about, like, depression and sadness and being close to tears, which is why the translyric version mentions that their face is full of sad stuff, because they just seem sad. The point of this character is that this idol character does not really realize why the child is as upset as he is. So she's just kind of like, oh, he looks upset. I've got to try to do my best to cheer him up. It's my responsibility as an idol. That's kind of her whole thing. So the mystery and the nuance here is like, well, I guess the nuance here is more so she cannot tell what is bothering him, so he just seems like upset to her, and there's like no real clear thing being said, you know? So ultimately you can't really get like more specific. And, like, of course, if you want to be more literal, we could have changed Nakiso to, like, I saw your, like, crying face, or, like, your upset face, or whatever. And that would technically be more quote-unquote correct, but saying distressed is not necessarily wrong. Because it could be like he's in the midst of a panic attack, too. And a panic attack could also involve crying, so in the end, it's all cyclical. I will counterattack your request for one-to-one direct translation. But anyway. But yeah, that's also kind of the problem of relying on just one translation, but I feel like it gets difficult to mix a lot of translations together in this like section here. I know some people who, when they write their translations, they will actually get 2 different sets of translations, and they'll have like translation 1, translation 2, and then they'll compare between those 2 to get their translyrics. For this one, I didn't do that, but it do be like that. 3 Duranium, thank you for being a member for 7 months. It's hard to translate and maintain meaning as well as rhyming. I attempted to translate an old child book into Japanese, but gave up due to all the puns. Yeah, that is the pain of being a localizer, is how do you translate puns or idioms or things that are specific to the English language in another language? It's the same when you're translating Japanese to English. There are certain idioms that are said in Japanese that just will not make sense to an English speaker, so sometimes a localizer will choose to just find something that is equivalent, like an equivalent pun or idiom, and it won't be a one-to-one translation, and that's where people get butthurt about the fact that a translation is not, like, direct. But, like, the point of localization, there's a difference between translation and localization, you know? Like, translation, its goal is to try and get the meaning. And then, like, translyrics or localization is meant to take the thing and make it make sense to a native English speaker in this context, you know? So there's a difference between one-to-one translation of a pun or something versus choosing a pun that is the same meaning but a completely different pun entirely. And you can argue about whether one is better than the other when it comes to localizing a Japanese media piece thing, but that is kind of generally how it goes. Make a new pun that fits. You could also do that technically. But, like, I guess what I'm trying to say is the role of a localizer is to make it make sense to an English-speaking audience. You will sometimes have to forgo being super literal just to make sure that it still makes sense to your audience. You should always be keeping your audience in mind. As long as your audience can understand it, that is what matters most. So sometimes it's just better to not take the risk and directly translate a thing. Have you heard of anyone singing the translyrics to a song often? There are some people who write translyrics where their versions of a song become really, really popular and lots of people cover their version. This is true. This is mostly the case for people like Jubiphonic, Splendiferacci. Will Stetson is another really popular one. Lots of people like their English versions of songs. And they've actually gotten, a lot of them sometimes get to the point where their English translyric versions of songs end up being considered the official translation of a song. So, a lot of people like sing their versions of songs. Lee and Lai is another one. Amalie. A lot of people like their versions of English songs. Funny you mentioned Juby. I've been listening to her English version of Patrick Staccato. Yeah, Jubiphonic is really well known within the Vocaloid community for writing English lyrics. English translyrics. Splendiferaci as well. They are from the same, like, friend circle. Could you potentially sing one? I'm not sure what you're asking. Are you asking me to sing my lyrics, or are you asking me to find an English translation of another song and just sing it? I'm not sure what is being asked here. I just realized, like, almost every Disney song ever is translyric. Older Disney, yes. Newer Disney, when it is translated into another language, it is only dubbed lines, but they do not translate the songs anymore. I have to counterpoint this because I have gone out of my way to listen to Japanese dubs of Disney movies just to see, but a lot of newer Disney movies, the songs are not translyric. At least not initially. Maybe they get translyric later. But older Disney movies, yes. Like things like Lion King and Hercules and things like that, those had songs with translyrics, but at least in the initial releases of movies nowadays, the songs will stay in English and just have subtitles. And then it's the rest of the movie that will be dubbed in Japanese. Maybe later they have translyric versions of the songs, I wouldn't know, but from what I've seen, it's usually just the songs will be in English. And it always disappoints me, because I go out of my way to listen to the dubs because I want to hear my favorite seiyuu in these roles, but then they don't actually get to sing because the songs aren't translated, and I'm just like, that sucks. That sucks, dude. But they used to do that. They used to do it a lot more, but I think they've stopped in more recent times. I still know how to sing the Japanese version of Let It Go. I think it was around that era where they stopped, yeah. Because I know the Japanese version of I've Seen the Light. But there's like less of those translations now for the more modern songs. Maybe eventually, or like maybe if the song gets really, really trendy, it'll become translated eventually like that, but not usually anymore. Feels like it would be really jarring if the EN and JP voice actors sound too different. Well, the point of dubbing is that you get people to be a sound alike. It's actually quite common, at least in kind of in the English space, but also in the Japanese space as well. It's quite common to get the same actor or seiyuu to dub over the same roles, the same, like, actor. I don't know how else to explain this. I'm trying to think of a good example. I can't remember the name of the seiyuu off the top of my head, but, like, there's one specific seiyuu who always dubs over Ryan Reynolds. So, like, anytime Ryan Reynolds plays a role in a movie, that seiyuu will usually be contacted to dub it over. Do you know what I mean? Like, they try to keep it consistent so that, like, that actor becomes equated with that seiyuu's dub voice, you know? And I'm sure that vice versa might also be possible with, I mean, I can think of one example of a seiyuu who had their roles constantly dubbed by the same voice actor. One example. Or they could do like Phil Collins and do a translated version of their songs in the movie. Well, Phil Collins is a very unique situation, but this is true. They could just translate their own songs, but that's only if it's like an inclusion of a pop star's songs. If we're talking about a Disney movie, a lot of the Disney music is like composed by the Disney team, and less so jukebox style where it's like a pop star's music. Yeah. Could you do a translyric karaoke of your songs? I have talked about maybe doing something like that in the future where I gather up all the translyrics I've written and I do a karaoke. Right now, I don't think there are enough songs for me to do that. I'd have to write more translyrics for more girls, I guess. Let me check my playlist though. I actually don't remember how many I have. Where is the playlist? Playlist. Where is it? Yeah, I only have 6 songs that I have written trans lyrics for so far. That is not nearly enough to make a karaoke out of. 6 plus Endless Summer. Endless Summer is not trans lyrics. Endless Summer is an original song, so that would not count. Also, I don't know how I don't know how anyone would feel if I did a cover of one of their originals. 6 lyrics and counting. Well, I'm not really getting approached to do trans lyrics anymore. Kaya was the one who was approaching me the most frequently, but she kind of stopped doing the dual releases. And then, Hiyori was for her birthday. But I don't really get requests for trans lyrics anymore. If anything, it's requests for other kinds of projects, but I didn't say anything. Shrivels in the dust. Patreon exclusive. Patreon exclusive information. It is what it is. But no, at least in terms of trans lyrics, I haven't really been approached to do any more lately. So I don't really know if I'll be getting any more trans lyrics to add to my thing anytime soon. What do we have to do to request translations? Well, I do not take public commissions right now, so you wouldn't really be able to request them. I'm like, there's things I could say, but I can't. But long story short, you really, I'm not taking requests from people randomly, or like people that are not like other creators or like VTubers. $100,000. I mean, I don't know what I would do. I'll be honest with you. If I got a donation that big, I think I would just have to like quit. Like, I don't know what I would do. Like, I don't know what I would do with myself. I'd be like, what do you mean? And then I'd probably be worried that it would get like charge backed or something. But I'd be surprised if I ever got a 1,000 donation. So I would just be like, what? Who? What do you mean 1,000? Who? Please don't quit. I'm joking. I'm joking. I'm just saying that if I got a really big donation, I wouldn't know what to do with myself. I would just be like, it's over? You haven't? Not at once. I mean, I've earned over 1,000 for like, donathon type streams and stuff before. But I don't think I've ever gotten a $1,000 stream at once. I think the highest, $1,000 donation at once. I think the highest I've ever gotten was 500. No, you guys aren't understanding what I'm saying. It's not that you should stop donating, it's just that I wouldn't know what to do if I got a donation that was $100,000. Like, I think my brain would stop. I would just be like, I feel like I have reached the peak. I will now never be able to get this ever again. I wasn't literally saying I would quit. It's just, it was like the reaching the peak, you know? Like, what would I do after that? I'm not planning to, actually. I don't think any VTubers got a donation that was that large. True, at least not all at once. Maybe if someone were to, like, look at their accumulated history of times they've donated to a VTuber, maybe it would add up to 100,000, and in that case, that would be crazy. I think the largest I've ever seen get donated at one time to a streamer was, like, 10,000? But that would be crazy, still. Payment processors would probably throw a fit if you try it. Oh yeah, they would think that there was something fishy going on. They'd be like, who? Could you imagine having to call your bank to be like, hey, by the way, I am about to donate $100,000 to this anime girl that I like on the internet? What do you think the teller on the other side would say? I think it'd probably just be something like, are you sure about this? Are you sure? Maybe you shouldn't get that much money that quickly. I mean, yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, 100K would be wild. I do believe your donation alert is broken. Oh. No, it's not broken. I have it turned off from, which stream was it? What was the stream I did? Oh, right. It was from the Unite stream. The Unite stream doesn't allow, donations. It only allows, like, super chats and, memberships. So I had my donation alert turned off, and I have forgotten to turn it back on because this I'm very small brain. So it's not broken, it's just turned off. That said, thank you, Pira, for the $100. Best I can do right now. No, that's plenty. Also, that reminds me I need to update the daily dono, which means you guys got your one. We are on the way to another chosen stream. My boobs are gonna go small again. Sorry, 1 second. Oh, but lucky you, I have to add another one, so we're good. Boob fix. Yeah, that was from Tuesday. I didn't stream on Wednesday. If I had streamed on Wednesday, I probably would have remembered to fix it. And then I forgot on Thursday too, and now it is Friday and I once again forgot. I'm gonna go fix that now. I don't know, but at what cost? I'm sorry! I'm sorry, man. Also, I like that you can see my cursor moving around even though you can't actually see what I'm doing. Alert box. They changed how this is laid out, so it's like a lot more difficult to find everything. Okay. That's better now. And I'm sure you guys are missing your bruh, so I will replay the alert for a bruh.
Bruh. Bruh.
Bruh. There you go. I should have said something on Thursday when I noticed. I didn't notice your donation until I ended stream. Because it came in while I was AFK, and then also I just didn't notice it because the alert was off. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm such a bad swimmer. But there was your apology, bruh. Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, 4 days to go until your next chosen stream. Crazy. Or I guess your next chosen thing. Because, management suggested that I also just open up the floor to you guys for what you would want to see. Or, like, what you guys would like to choose, I guess. But I don't know if it would make sense if I just said, Damadachis, choose a thing. Like, because then everyone would be like, what thing? And I'd be like, a thing. What do you want? I think leaving it as a stream makes the most sense, personally. To me, it does. But, like, if there is something else you guys want, feel free to voice it, I suppose. And we can consider changing the goal to that. Oh my god, I totally realized I forgot that I was gonna talk about Miss You a little bit. Because Miss You premiered a little while ago. Hold on, let me get the video. I liked choosing a voice pack when we did that, but I understand if it's tough to pump those out. Can I be candid? I personally was down to leave it with being a voice pack, but we noticed that, and this is no fault of anybody, so, like, don't feel bad that I'm saying this, but we noticed that the donations kind of slowed down after the goal was met, and I assume that's because people were waiting for the voice pack to be produced. But because I wasn't getting any donations during that time, it was kind of management who thought that I should change it to something that could maybe be more, I don't want to say achievable, but like something that might feel more immediate, so that it would encourage people to like be more consistent with their donations. So that's kind of why it turned out like that. Anyway, there's a link to Miss You if you missed it. It would be quite ironic if you missed Miss You. Donating hundreds daily is rough. Well, it's not like there's an expectation for one person to donate that amount, you know? It's more so like people can contribute little amounts to get to the goal. That's why the goal is quite small. But no, I do understand. I do understand that it can be difficult to meet the goal a bunch of times in a row. But I was requested to do this to try and encourage a more steady flow. But I understand. I'm not here to, like, pressure you. That's why I don't say anything if it doesn't get met or if the combo breaks, you know? I'm just like, okay, and then we keep going. Because I understand how it is. I understand how it be. Oh, I'm sorry if you hear my notifications. It looks like there's activity happening in the Slack. Hold on. I'm gonna put my Slack on Do Not Disturb for a little bit. Ugh, silence. Okay. I did miss you because I was doing work rounds. That's okay. It'd be busy. It was going to be a bit earlier, but Ranchan was like, can we push it by a little bit so I can make sure that I'm home on time? And I was like, yeah, sure. So we pushed it back by like 30 minutes. But yeah, no, for the record, I don't ever want people to actually feel like pressured to give money. And also, it's not an issue of you guys not supporting enough. It's just, you know, this is kind of the how it be in an agency, I guess. I don't know. I personally feel a bit weird about it also. I try to not make a big deal out of it, really. She has a tattoo on her leg. Yes, I do. Not in this. This is a costume asset that doesn't have my tattoo. The tattoo is not on this, but yeah. In my official outfit, I do have a tattoo. I can show you, actually. But that means I will have to go into my changing room really quick. Let me do that. To the changing room. Whee! Can I open my program? Thank you. And then Yeah, I can tell you guys miss your wife. I understand. It's me, the original. And then, let me, grab the... Here, tattoo. Wife check. My head's getting chopped off, but also you can see your wife. Literally only shows up to post wife. Magic. Kaya is Def Honkers. Well, we weren't doing it based on personality if you're talking about Start Dash. So the way that it worked, right, was kind of that, we were discussing how our, what was the context of it? It was like, Yuno compressed. Shut up. But no, the reason that we were split up like this is because I'm green. Colors, kind of colors, but it's more so, like, the aspects. So if you know anything about School Idol Festival, you know that the Love Live girls are split into 3 aspects, which is Smile, Cool, and Pure. So Smile is the pink one, Cool is the blue one, Pure is the green one. Ron-chan is cool. Like, between the two of us, Ron is obviously more cool than me. So I ended up being Pure kind of by default. But, it's just, we kind of felt like our vibes did fit the like, original 3 Muse girls. Because Umi does also have her, like, dorky moments. And then, I think, I looked up his soft eyes, so here's the tax. Thank you for the super chat. Thank you. And then, you know, Kaya has the, like, Genki Honoka energy and, like, that kind of leader energy. And then, I have more of the, like, quiet observer supporter role, which is a Kotori personality type. Kotori isn't really, like, silly or ditzy or anything. Kotori is actually very much the, like, observer character. She really doesn't want to, like, be... She doesn't usually want to be in the spotlight. She prefers to not be directly involved. So,
it's a super chat.
That's kind of something that suits me really well. Yeah, I know. Thank you, Yuno, for thanking the super chat. I already did that, but thanks. But that's why Kotori kind of suited me. Also, it's my voice. It's kind of a voice match thing. Kaya's voice is very Honoka. Ran-chan's voice is very Umi. My voice kind of has to be Kotori by default, but also I can do a pretty good Kotori impression. We actually debated just posting that cover, but actually doing impressions, but I was like, I don't know if anybody would recognize me if I did my Kotori voice. I don't know if anybody would recognize me or understand. Pure and Yuno, no way. Hey, I can be kind of pure. I have a say-so spirit. You can talk that high? Mm-hmm. I know it's shocking, but, like, since I can sing high, I just kind of talk in my singing voice a little bit, but no, I used to have a, I used to do a Kotori impression that was pretty good. So there is, like, there's a secret file on my PC where I recorded Start Dash in my Kotori voice. I tried to mimic her singing style as best as I could, in that version as well. It sounds very silly. Do it? What is this stream turning into? This is the second time I have been asked to turn this into a karaoke. What is this? But yeah. So that was why we were putting these roles for Start Dash. It just kind of made sense for our personalities and our colors and kind of our general, like, aspects and vibes. And it was something we had talked about covering for a long time, but we just didn't really have the opportunity. But, you know, then Kaya was aggressively like, hey, wanna sing Start Dash? Wanna sing Start Dash? Wanna sing Start Dash? I know what I want for our next daily goal. Not the Kotori karaoke. Yuno impersonates Kotori and sings Love Live songs as Kotori. And then I die, is what would happen. Good evening, wow, you look cute. Thank you! I appreciate it. I do think I can be a pretty cute girl sometimes. Mm-hmm. Man, oh man. What was I doing? Right, I wanted to talk about Miss You a little bit. All the time. Okay, please. Leave me alone. Don't get off me for the pedantics. Anyways. So I wanted to talk about Miss You very briefly, because we didn't really get to do like we didn't do an after party thing, because Ranchan be busy. I didn't want to pressure her to do an after party stream or anything while she's been so busy. So we just uploaded the cover and left it at that, but I can talk about it a little bit. So, hi, I love Idolish 7, so does Ransuki, huh? That's why we chose the cover? Anyways. No. We actually chose it for a different reason. But, so, Miss You as a song is about... So, okay. I don't want to go into too much of the, like, I7 lore when I talk about this, but long story short, Miss You ended up being used as a song for a teen drama where the two idols that sang the song, Tamaki and Sogo, they are childhood friends with the lead heroine, and they both are in love with her, but she's in love with, like, a third unrelated guy. But it still leads to the two of them, like, fighting all the time, because, like, they aren't sure which of them should be the one to, like, pull her away from that guy and, like, be the one to be with her. It's, like, it's, like, a strange drama, but it do be a drama. So a lot of the lyrics in the song are this kind of, like, I don't want to say nostalgic, but it's, like, this kind of sad feeling of, like, you are as close as you can be to somebody, but there is still that, like, one aspect of the distance between you that you cannot reach. The line that Ranchan highlighted in the description of Miss You is, this small love of mine, or, like, this small useless love of mine, will surely not be able to reach you, or something like that. Like, it will not be able to reach you. Because, like, this love that I feel is, like, basically useless, because there's no point to it since she doesn't view either of them in that way. That's the line that the two sing together in the song. But yeah, it's a lot of lines about, like, loving somebody that's, like, really close to you, but you still can't cross that last distance. And then there's, like, in the second verse, there's, like, a few lines about, like, getting into arguments and, like, causing the girl to cry, but, like, when you make her cry, it's just like, oh man, this makes you realize how much I actually want to protect you. So it's that kind of vibe as well. Mezzo as a unit are two characters who are considered complete opposites of one another, and a lot of the story focuses on how they grow to work together as a duo. Tamaki's image color is the same, well, not the same as Ranchan's blue. I think Tamaki's shade of blue is probably actually closer to Isla-sama's blue. But, Tamaki's image color is blue, and Sogo's color is purple. So we sang the respective idols that have the same image color as us. The outfits were also based off of outfits that Mezzo wore, I believe, for their first album. So they're like these dark blue and light blue suit-looking outfits. That's why we're wearing kind of like suit jackets. Ranchan is wearing shorts. I'm wearing a skirt. And you can see the thigh tattoo. The artist, or well, the MV editor Did not really highlight the thighs very much. Or like the lower part of the body very much. But you can see the thigh tattoo. And then, you know, we have flowers in our respective image colors. We're both holding roses in our colors. And we have butterflies in our colors too. Yeah. Butterfly motif is actually quite common within Mezzo's imagery as well. So that's really fun. It works out because Ranchan and I, if you look at our designs, we both have butterflies incorporated. Ranchan in her butterfly clip and me in my butterfly rose clip that's by my horn there. So we both have butterflies. Oh, also on my obi, I have butterfly pins, accessory thingies as well. So we are the two that have butterflies in our motif in Hanamizuki. So we chose a unit that has a bit of a butterfly motif as well. I think that made it turn out quite cute. It was so great. Thank you. I went really hard on my recording. I wanted to get it perfect because it's an Idolish 7 song, and Idolish 7 means a lot to me. We really need to go through it together at some point. I feel like for the anniversary coming up, they're probably going to announce the 4th season, which means that we will have to watch 1 through 3 so that we can be ready for 4. Me holding you guys hostage. It's Idolish 7 time. Nothing better than butterflies and flowers. So real. The only thing that's better is moon motifs, because moonlight. That's where the Mizuki comes from. Well, I guess that's specifically where the Zuki comes from, because the Mi just means beautiful. Yes, you know. I'm glad you understand. You will be held captive. I will teach you about them. But yeah, we've always bonded over Idolish 7. When I found out that Ranchan liked it, I was just like, oh, I was so happy. Because I feel like not many people know about it. One of many, many reasons why I'm going to be sad when she's gone. Who will I talk to about I7? Not that it matters because she's not caught up. Me, who has been caught up for a long time, just sitting here like, why does nobody know what I know? It's that one meme, wake up, babe, I those 7 watch a long time. You're so right. The time will come. Not yet, but the time will come where I will make you guys watch it. Definitely not yet, though. Our schedule for the rest of August, and honestly for some of September, is going to be pretty busy. Although maybe we can squeeze in some time during September. We'll see. It's possible. At least maybe to get through the first season. But no, Idolish 7 is a series that means a lot to me. I think I've talked about this briefly before, but Idolish 7 was actually a series that pulled me out of, like, a really deep depression. So being able to sing it with Ranchan made me really, really happy. I hope I can sing more Idolish 7 songs in the future. So glad you're able to save your school before Ron left. Have we saved our school? Have we truly saved it? Maybe so. Technically, the version of Start Dash that we sang was the one that did not really help save the school. It was more just like a desperate attempt to. But I'm glad that we can sing that with her too. Good night, sleep well. Semantics. Yeah, well, if you can be pedantic about translations, I can pay attention to your semantics. But no, I really like that version of Start Dash. I like the 9-person version too. But honestly, the 3-person version, that was like the one that started it all, you know? Because like before that, we only had Susume Tomorrow. And that was kind of like the only real like song that we had for them. But like Start Dash was like a very pivotal moment for Love Live, and I really like the trio version for that reason. I actually have figures of Umi, Honaka, and Kotori in the 3-person Start Dash dresses. Those are also still being kept in a box, though, because I don't have any place to display them right now. They used to be on my desk, but now that I have 2 monitors, I don't have room for them. I don't have room! This desk is so tiny! I haven't seen Start Dash yet. Need to watch after the stream. Well, it is on my channel, so you will be able to find it. I will link it for good measure, though, because you guys should watch it. Desk space agony is so real. Also, the downside of being a person who actually uses their bookshelf for books. Unfortunately, I use my bookshelf for books, so I literally have no room for figures. It has Yuno Wiggles. This is true. We used our models for that cover. So you can see us wiggling around and stuff. I think we look cute. Sorry for caps. It's okay. I like the passion. I really feel the spirit behind it. So passionate about the wiggles. But I'm also passionate about my wiggles, so I understand. I would have more books, but I move too much. I understand. Books are definitely a hobby that you can really only enjoy if you are pretty stationary for the most part. Or so I have come to notice. Link Bibbidi-Bot 2. Oh my gosh. Okay, fine. It has 839 views. I don't know if that really counts as the road to 1K. But it is doing quite well compared to some of my other solos that I have uploaded in the past. This one has gotten more views comparatively. But whatever, there's Bibbidi-Bot. Just watch videos. Watch my videos. That's all I ask. It's the road to 1K. I know, but that's so far away. I feel like road to 1K is something you say when you hit like 900. I feel like we're still too far out. But it's fine. I do not know Chinese. Not a single bit. I know a little bit of Japanese, enough to kind of carry a conversation. I'm better at listening than I am speaking. Writing is meh. But yeah, I do not know. I do not know. I also know like 1 or 2 words in Korean. I studied French in school for a while as well, but I do not remember much of my French.
May the Oni lights guide you back to me.
I know Hira and Kata, that's fair. Nameless, thank you for being a member for 3 months. Road to 13K, Buno. This is true. This part I agree with. We are officially on the road to 13K. This is correct. I don't know what happened. I was like floating around 850 for a while, 840, 850 for a while, and then suddenly, I just jumped up to like 900. And now we are at 12, or we are now at 909. So 91 more and we will be at 13K. Not that anything's really going to happen at 13K, but still exciting. Sudden movement, sudden burst of growth, you feel? Was Bibbidi-Bot Korean? No, it was Japanese. A lot of the covers I sing in Japanese. But that's because I feel like I sound better in Japanese than I do in English. I don't know, it's just a personal preference. But yeah, Bibbidi-Bot was a Japanese cover. You'll gain Nana and she's powers soon. You just have to stream for 10 hours a day every day. Management had me change my schedule so that I wouldn't get burnt out. Because at least for me, if I focus too much on streaming, every other project that I do disappears. And since I've been getting approached to do a lot of other projects for the other girls, it's kind of more important for me to be able to have time to work on projects. I'm not gonna be putting on anybody else's playlist. That's not how it works here. You also can't even post links. If you tried to post a link, your message wouldn't go through. So, no. No thank you. Yuno must keep her sanity. I would like to. In an ideal world, I would love to keep my sanity. Management stealing our Muno. No, this is better for me. I sometimes will have streams that are a little bit longer in the evenings, but, I just gotta, it's just that, like, the way my life currently is, it just doesn't really make sense to, spend too much time streaming. Ideally, I've said this a bunch of times, but, like, once I can get things with Onimama properly settled, as in, I do not have to carry as much responsibility there, ideally, if I can reach that point, I would be able to commit more time to streaming and, like, other kinds of content. But my personal desire is to have, like, a balanced amount of content where, like, I'm doing as much as I can, outside of streaming, alongside streaming. I know this is, like, a way far off dream, I guess, but ideally, I'd like, the other stuff I do to be, almost more, I don't want to say profitable, that's not the right word. Almost more lucrative, I guess, as streaming is. I appreciate that you're pointing it out, but no self-promotion. Sorry, buddy. No self-promotion here. More endurance streams. I don't know about all that. Endurance streams can be kind of difficult, you know? But, like, maybe. I did mention that I sometimes do longer streams with my intention to, like, get through games faster. So I will sometimes, have streams that go for longer, even if it's not really good for me. Like those streams that go to, like, 5, 6, sometimes 7 hours. Those might as well be unplanned endurances. And when that happens, I'm always just like, this is fine. And then in parentheses, I regret it immensely. Oh, I see. Thank you for being a member for 1 month. You taking care of Onimama and streaming is laudable. Thank you. I mean, someone's gotta do it. I don't really want to feel like what I am doing is laudable. I just think that what I am doing is, like, fulfilling the things that I set out to do. They are my obligations at this point, you know? Hi, welcome! You both did wonderful, thank you! Appreciate it. It's hard to fit 50 characters. Yeah, the woe of Super Chat's having really low character limits. Someone has to do it because the hired person wouldn't. I know, right? And they're still struggling to find a replacement. So I'm gonna still have to do it for the foreseeable future until they can figure out a replacement. It's rough out here. It's rough out here. I meant cover song? No, I know what you meant. I still appreciate it, though. But yeah, it's back to me being the full-time caregiver instead of the, partial that it was before, which was mornings and nights. Yuno needs her Yuno time to herself so she can write about her hate for beats. I like how that's what you think I do in my free time. I just decide to remember how much I hate beans, and then I write an essay about it. Honestly, kind of based. I wonder if I should do that at some point. I think that'd be pretty funny. Yeah, that's me! I'm thinking about beans and how much I hate them. Accurate depiction. And now next to that, we need the notebook, or like the pencil emote. So hold on. I will write out the ideal scenario for this. Pencil. And then we need the angry... not the pout. And then we need the thought balloon. Yeah, exactly! Who needs Oshi marks when you could just you can just communicate your entire story via emoji? This is the Onigashima experience, because this is how the other Oni write. They draw pictures. So true. I'll tell my kids these are hieroglyphics, as you should, because you would be correct. A hieroglyphic is something that uses pictures to convey meaning of language, so you're not wrong. This is so silly. Remember when this stream was supposed to be about translyrics? Pepperidge Farm remembers. Anyways. A rant copy pasta of your opinion on beans. Okay, if it was gonna be a copy pasta though, it would have to be funny. Because the point of a copy pasta is it has to have a lot of iconic lines that are like worthy of being quoted. So I would have to try really, really hard to make it funny. Have I ever said anything particularly funny about my hatred for beans before? Bean hate rep. That's called a diss track. But yeah. That would be so funny. Meta management. So can I use my budget to purchase a rap beat? I need this for reasons. Family Guy quote. Yeah. Man. A diss track. That would be insane. I've never written a diss track before. I am capable of rapping. I just... How would that even turn out, though? That'd be crazy. An angry letter to all farmers of beans. This is my diss track to bean farmers. You guys have the most pointless job on the planet, and I'm here to tell you why. Don't worry about comedy, you're already pretty funny, so that will work out. You think I'm funny? That's crazy. Makes me kind of happy, though. I do try to be as entertaining as I can. I would be interested in a diss track by Bruno. I don't know if I would make a good diss track. I could certainly make a diss track. Kendrick versus Drake, but instead it's Yuno versus the bean industry. I like how it's the whole industry. If you said I'm funny looking, I would just agree with you. And I would blame the forehead, because that is usually why people think that about me. People see this forehead and they're just like, that is someone who is meant to be bullied. You got a head that looks like it should be pushed in a locker. Got a head that looks like it should be getting a swirly. Got a head that says we should use the top of your head as an armrest. It be how it is. You're pretty cute. Got him. Proving the latter point. No bean goes unhated around Yuno. This is true. No beans are safe. Not even toe beans? Well, toe beans are not edible. I specifically mean edible beans. And toe beans is a colloquial term for an animal's paw pad, so we're okay there. We're okay there. Those are not edible, so I don't really care about them. It's only edible beans that deserve to be punished. Those are the things that deserve to be eradicated off the face of the earth. Jelly beans? Yeah, jelly beans suck. Hate them. Disgusting. They don't even do anything. I've tried those, like, Bean Boozled challenges or whatever. I don't even get the flavor half the time because the bean is just so, like, dry and yucky and, like, not good to consume. Nasty. Nasty little beans. Just beans or all legumes in general? Mostly beans. Other legumes are okay. Do the Fall Guys beans count? You can technically eat them? What do you mean, technically eat them? You cannot eat them, they are digital. Also, I don't think those really count as beans. Those are creatures. Living creatures, no less. I hate beans. Same, man. My life was almost ended because I got pencil shavings? Ew. Ew, I didn't even know that was a flavor. Beans are creatures. In Fall Guys, but like, the beans are not literally creatures, they're not sentient. What about chickpeas? Because they're also garbanzo beans. If they are basically the same thing as a garbanzo bean, I hate them. Imagine eating Berry Bot's multi-flavored beans. Could never. I'm not doing it. I don't want beans. Digital creatures. You're the kind of person who's like, microchip, you say? I hope it's extra salty. Thinking it's a potato chip. Uno bean hate on site. Yeah, it's on site. If I see a box of jelly beans, I'm just like, nah, and I throw it outside. And then I managed to get a perfect, nothing but net dunk into the trash can as if it is a basketed ball hoop. Not a slam dunk, because a slam dunk would be if I ran up and I slammed it. But I would just get a perfect, nothing but net toss. Maybe a three-pointer, perhaps. I wouldn't even feed beans to, like a raccoon or something. Like animals that eat garbage, I would not even feed the beans to them because that would just be miserable for them. What about a bean adachi? None of my damadachi are bean-shaped. What a waste of perfectly good beans. There's no such thing as perfectly good beans. That's your first problem. I'm going to now rearrange your sentence to say beans, comma, what a waste. Because that would be the only true correct statement. What if I stepped into the bean-shaped mold? Well, you still technically wouldn't be a bean because you are still a sentient living creature. So, I guess I still wouldn't hate you, but I would get very mad when I saw the shape and I would have to try and force you into a different shape. But where did perfectly go? We don't need it. Play the power of Quiver, you know, has spoken it into canon. When you rearrange a sentence, you don't really need to keep things like the adjectives or the adverbs because they're just like extra. It's just extra emphasis of something. The perfectly is not carrying the sentence, so I can get rid of it. You hate them if they have bean in their name? Not really. Because, like, I don't hate a bean bag, like a beanbag chair. That's fine, because you can't eat a beanbag chair. This is what you love us if we were a bean energy? The answer is no. My love is conditional. If you become a bean, it's over. Normally when I try to rearrange my sentences, the judge says no. Haha, get it? It's a different kind of sentence. Very funny. Honestly, it does get points for being unexpected. 7.5 out of 10. Good one. I refuse to read the sentence that is bean propaganda. I'm looking at it, but I'm not reading that out loud because that is bean propaganda, and if I read that out loud, the bean industry is going to hold that against me, and they're going to be like, but you said, quote for quote, insert bean propaganda sentence here. And I'm not doing that. You will not spread the bean agenda through me. I am not a mouthpiece for the beans. I feel like you guys are talking to me about this so that I have really stupid lines that I can use for the diss track. So far, so good. Fictitious Friday has turned into Bean Friday. Fictitious Friday has turned into another Zatsudon, but like, what else is new? At this point, most if not all of my streams become Zatsu, and that's fine. I should be allowed. So what if we are? Yeah, nothing wrong with it. Normally, Yuno says stuff and we take notes, but it has been reversed now. Oh, bold of you to assume I'm taking notes. It's more just like, I will probably come back to this section later and examine all of the random things I said about beans and see if I can use it. It's still fictitious because there's no reality where you'd acknowledge beans. See? This guy gets it. This guy gets it. You understand. You can't see me. I'm pointing at my screen right now because you get it. You get me. The true fiction is Yuno's love of beans. You get me. You get me. Leonardo DiCaprio meme. Well, the Leonardo DiCaprio meme is used when he sees, like, himself on screen. He's like, wait, that's me. Or like, wait, I know that guy. And that's factitious. Now it's Factitious Friday. Electric guitar and me going, yeah! The sick shred as the like dark shades fall down onto my face. Yep, the shirt is the stream of all time. This is very true for sure. It's also used for like, that's the name of the movie. That's true. That's the name of the movie. I hope members realize that I'm going to say that a lot when they say Barbie during the Barbie movie. You're just gonna hear me quietly go, that's the name of the movie, under my breath. Speaking of, tomorrow, Barbie 2023 movie watch along in members. If you are in NA, I believe you can find it on Hulu. I am not sure if it is available everywhere else also on Hulu. But it's available on Hulu, for NA people. Hopefully you can find it on one of your streaming services. I watched it last year. I wanted to watch it, but I never got the chance to. So, I'm very excited to get to watch it for the first time with you guys. It will be a fun time. I'm looking forward to it for sure. But yes, that will be tomorrow's stream. I will do my best to make sure that I'm on time. At least not so, like, incredibly late as I have been these past few days. I promise. It's just these past couple of days have been rough because of everything changing around to suit the needs of Onimama. So, like, that's kind of why. And it's the principle of the thing, you know? We'll probably show up late, but we'll catch up. Okay. I believe in you. But yeah, we will try to start on time. That is the hope. I should probably consider wrapping up now, though, because Onimama has become a little bit more of a stickler for me getting things done during the evenings. How'd you know I was planning to wrap up? That's funny. But you have a good night as well. But yeah, some members tomorrow. I'll probably be posting schedule for the rest of the week also tomorrow, because I think it's pretty much done. I just have to decide... I think I just have to decide my U-Novels topic, which, it might be related to Cupid Parasite, because I'm about to finish the first game. I started... Well, I say started. I'm literally on the first line of the first scene of the true route in Cupid Parasite. So, I'm thinking about trying to get through that this weekend if I am capable. Or, like, later this week if I'm capable. And I will do a stream about Cupid Parasite and rant about those boys. I'd call that started. This is, in the loosest form of the word, it is started. Have I started properly reading? No, but it is there. It is ready for me to go back to. But that will be my intention probably for U-Novels next Friday. So I'm gonna change my... I'm gonna write down that it's gonna be about Cupid Parasite. So my schedule should be done then. For tomorrow. I think everything else is set up too. Though I need to check on one other thing. Also. Might need to check that soon. Assuming that I can get an answer. But anyway, that's all like behind the scenes stuff. Okay, but yeah, that's the plan for right now. Be ready for the members watch along. Bring your snacks. Wear a nice suit. Because we're kind of pulling this like we're doing a Barbenheimer, but it's not literally a Barbenheimer. We're just watching Barbie first. So wear a nice suit. But yeah, that is the plan. Thank you guys so much for choosing to spend time with me. I hope that you have a good rest of your time zone. And until I see you again, Yunotsu!